Howdy folks, welcome to Telltrail. Today in this channel, we'll be sharing some real and raw stories about relationships and more. Stick around to hear how they made it through, or if they did. Without further ado, let's get into some tales together. The first story is titled, Am I Wrong for Asking for Space from My Wife? By username AnyComfortable3624. Hey Reddit fam, need your thoughts on a situation that went down in my life. So, I've been married to my wife for a few years now, and don't get me wrong, I love her to bits. But lately, things have been a bit intense. Now, I'm wondering if I'm the asshole for telling her I need a break. So here's the deal. We've been spending a lot of time together, like, all the time. Between work, family events, and just daily life, it feels like we're stuck to each other like glue. And I'm the kind of guy who needs a bit of breathing space, you know? Like, I need some alone time to recharge my batteries and do my own thing. Last week, after a particularly stressful day at work, I came home, and the first thing she did was ask about my day. Now, usually, I'd be cool with that. But that day I just needed a moment to decompress. I tried to explain that I needed some time alone, just to chill and unwind. Well, let's just say she didn't take it too well. She got all upset, accused me of not wanting to spend time with her, and started questioning our entire relationship. I mean, whoa, hold on a second. I just wanted a breather, not a one-way ticket to the doghouse. So, the next day, we had a talk. I laid it out there, told her that I love her but need some space to maintain my sanity. I emphasized that it's not about her, it's just how I am. And you know what she said? If you need space, maybe we shouldn't be together. Now, I'm sitting here, wondering if I'm the asshole for being honest about needing some me time. I get relationships are about compromise, but is it wrong to ask for a bit of personal space without being branded as the bad guy? I've been mulling it over, and part of me feels guilty. Maybe I should have sugar-coated it or found a gentler way to say it. But then again, should I really feel bad for being honest about my needs? Anyway, Reddit, am I wrong? Let's read some comments and relevant information OP gave in response. This commenter says, you are not wrong, and asks, what does your wife do on the daily? To which OP says, she is work from home. I contribute 75% of the finances and help in repairs around the house. She, however, does contribute to the house EMI and does most of the house chores. I try to help out whenever I can, but she is the lady of the house. Another commenter says, not wrong. After a long day, nobody wants to be interrogated and relive everything. Her intentions were good, but with a few small changes, she can give you the space you need. To which Opie replies, I would like to believe that what she said was only in the heat of the moment. I wonder if I could have responded better to her greeting, but her reaction actually shocked me since she is so sweet and cute all the time. Now, onto the update. Hey Reddit, it's me again. So, remember that post about me asking for a break from my wife? Well, things took a turn, and I need your advice on this mess. After our heart-to-heart, I thought we had an understanding. But, oh boy, I underestimated the fallout. The next few days were icy. Lisa, my wife, was distant, and our usual banter turned into awkward silence. I figured it would take some time for things to settle, but it got worse. We tried to make plans for a movie night or a casual dinner, but Lisa wasn't having it. She seemed hurt and kept bringing up my request for space, making me feel like the bad guy. It's like every attempt at connection was met with a reminder of my so-called need for a break. Last night, she dropped a bombshell. She told me that my request made her question our entire relationship. She expressed doubts about whether we were meant to be together if I couldn't handle being around her. Ouch. She asked me if there was some other girl who I liked. She didn't believe me even after I denied it multiple times. She claimed I was probably gonna leave her for some other girl. So as you can expect, my patience eventually ran out. I lost my mind and said something stupid. Well, if you don't stop being so damn insecure, then I probably will. Oops. Wrong words to say in this situation. I immediately realized what I just said and shut up, but she stood still dumbfounded before leaving without a word. I have not heard from her since, but apparently she went to her mom's house. Now, I'm stuck in this awkward limbo, wondering if I open Pandora's box by being honest about needing some time to myself. It feels like my attempt to preserve my sanity might have cost me the closeness we once had. I didn't expect things to spiral like this, and I'm genuinely torn about whether I should have just kept my need for a break to myself. Wow. That is quite a pickle you are in, Opie. Your wife's reactions makes it seems like there might be deeper concerns or underlying issues that have contributed to her current feelings. Either way, I think you are definitely entitled to your own space, as is she. But it may be time to consider therapy to resolve other issues in the marriage. The next story is titled, Am I Wrong for Screaming at and Embarrassing My Sister-in-Law at My Engagement Party After She Shamed My Birth Mother? By username Pretty Little Reader. So, I, a 29-year-old female, got engaged 2 months ago. My family is incredibly excited and planned a beautiful party to celebrate our engagement with my extended family. Some background on my family. I'm adopted at birth and connected with my birth family at 25. I asked my mother if she would be comfortable inviting my birth mother and birth sisters, and she happily obliged. However, my sister-in-law seemed less than thrilled, despite her literally not being involved in the party besides being a guest. For the weeks leading up to the party, she kept making comments about how they shouldn't have been invited as they're not family. I ignored these comments until the day of the party when she crossed the line. When my birth family arrived, my sister-in-law completely ignored them, instead choosing to go from table to table and whisper loudly about how terrible I am for inviting my birth family when my real family, her words, had planned the party. Again, I chose to suck it up and ignore her rudeness and gossip. That was until she approached my birth mother and started ranting at her, telling her she's a terrible person for putting me up for adoption and having the audacity to try and have a relationship with me. She then turned her anger on my incredibly pregnant birth sister and asked her if she was planning on abandoning her baby as well. Now, this is where I think I might be the asshole. Some context. My brother, 35 male, got in trouble with the law a few years ago. It was pretty bad, and he almost went to prison. He still has to follow a set of strict rules, such as not being within a certain number of feet of a school. He also will never be able to adopt or foster children. So, in a fit of extreme anger, I marched up to my sister-in-law and loudly told her she shouldn't be talking, asked her if she was so against adoption because she'll never be able to do it since her husband is a predator. She dramatically burst into tears and left. My brother has been texting me since, saying I embarrassed both of them. My mother is completely supportive of me and believes I was right to strike back. My birth mother and sisters now all feel guilty for causing an issue. Was I in the wrong? Now let's read some comments. One commenter says, "You are not wrong. I wonder if she is infertile and lashing out because she can't even adopt? Even if that is the case, it is not appropriate for her to lash out at your birth family." Another says, "Not wrong. She effed around, she found out." And another says, "Not wrong. Your sister-in-law was in the wrong and you were completely justified in putting her back in her place. Your brother should be embarrassed by his wife's behavior." The next story is titled, Am I Wrong for Having My Wife's Missing Ring Replicated Without Her Knowledge? By username Specialist P2618. A few months ago, my 44-year-old male, wife, 43-year-old female, lost a ring given to her by her late grandmother. My wife was really close to her grandmother, so, needless to say, the ring held significant sentimental value for her. Also, given that her grandmother died last year, it was a particularly painful blow. We searched high and low but never found it. After it was missing for about a month and my wife started losing hope, I decided that I'd have the ring replicated. We did have quite a few pictures of the ring, so I thought it could potentially be done. I did suggest the idea to my wife, but she did seem very receptive to it. She said things along the lines of how it couldn't be done and how it wouldn't be a replacement for the one her grandmother gave her. However, she didn't expressly say she would not allow me to replicate it. I ended up taking the pictures to a jeweler and described the piece to the best of my abilities. 2 months and $9,000 later, the ring was ready. I will admit that I kept all of this secret from my wife, and the day it was ready, I canceled work to pick it up and placed it between 2 sofa cushions that my wife usually sits around. I didn't want to present her with the ring, as I thought she wouldn't like that based on our conversation earlier. Fast forward a few days, and my wife finds the ring. She's overjoyed, happier than I've seen in a long time. I congratulated her on finding it, and thought that was that. Recently, my wife started questioning the ring. For the past few weeks, she's been telling me things like how it feels a bit different. Today, when I got back from work, my wife started asking me about the ring. She was saying things like how it felt different and how it looked different. I'll save you most of the details, but in summary, after about 5 minutes of grilling me, I confessed about having the ring replicated. To say she was furious would be an understatement. Basically, she yelled at me for being dishonest, claimed that I was acting like being married to her was charity, and also said that I had insulted her intelligence and embarrassed her in front of her friends and family, as she told them all that she found the ring. I apologized and told her that I didn't want to see her depressed, but she refused to listen. She ended up locking herself in our bedroom. I tried apologizing again, but all she did was slide the ring under the door towards me. All this just made me confused and conflicted about the entire situation. Am I wrong for getting her ring replaced? Let's read some community comments before moving on to the update. One user says, better start apologizing. To which Opie replies, yeah, once she cools down, I'll definitely be apologizing again. Though there will probably be a night or two of me sleeping on the couch before we reach that stage. Another user says, you are wrong. Not for getting it replicated, but for lying. The ring is poison to her now. Opie replies, thanks for the feedback. Yeah, unfortunately, I think this particular ring is poison to her. I've got to start from scratch again, I suppose. You can't mean with another ring? A reply from the commenter. Opie says, definitely not. I'll apologize and try doing something else for her. At this stage, this ring has essentially become one of the evil rings that Tolkien wrote about. Another user says, you should have just asked if she wanted a copy. And Opie says, when I brought up replacing it earlier this year, she didn't expressly say she didn't want that, but alluded to how it would not be the same. I guess I should have just listened and tried something else to cheer her up instead of this Band-Aid solution. A user advises, don't tell her. You didn't explicitly say no, stop trying to justify this. And Opie responds, thanks for the advice. I won't try justifying it whatsoever the next time I apologize, and I'm willing to do whatever it takes for her to look past my mistake. Now the update. So, it's been a few days since I last posted, and I'd like to provide an update on what's been happening. But before that, I'd like to thank everyone who took the time to respond to the original post. Your insights were incredibly valuable in helping me navigate this situation. As expected, I did end up spending a few nights sleeping on the couch. My wife was very angry with me, so I kept my distance and allowed her time to cool off. During this time, I've been keeping the replacement ring with me, as I didn't think my wife would even want to see it. Our youngest asked me why I was sleeping on the couch the other night, and I told him that it was good for his old man's back. It's another lie, but I didn't feel too bad going ahead with it. Tuesday night, after the kids went to bed, I apologized profusely for the entire situation. I told her that there was zero justification for what I did, and that I should have listened to her rather than tried to replace the ring. I told her that what I did was unbelievably foolish and inconsiderate, and I then offered to explain to her family and friends the situation if they were to ask about it. We did end up talking for a long time, and she told me that it was very difficult to describe how she felt about my actions. On the one hand, she was very frustrated that I thought I could just replace the ring. Yet, on the other hand, she was a bit amused that I'd go to such lengths and said she appreciates that aspect. She ended up re-accepting the ring, and I was allowed back into our bedroom. Things do seem to be slowly returning to normal, but if there's one thing I've learned about married life, it's that this conversation will probably be revisited a few more times in the future, and they will likely make my wife upset again. For that reason, I have decided to buy my wife a necklace, which I'll surprise her with in a few days. I'm thinking that this will hopefully soften her anger if this conversation ever does come up again. Let's see what the community thinks. One user writes, maybe ease off on the jewelry giving and clean the house or something lol. And Opie responds, well, I got home from work earlier and managed to clean all the dishes and do the laundry, so it's a start. And a reply to that from a user, clean the house only in an apron, there's a discussion about his kids seeing him. And Opie says, haha, oh man, that'd be embarrassing. Fortunately, my wife got home before the kids today. She saw me cleaning and told me that she hoped I save some energy for later tonight. 10 on 10 cleaning was absolutely worth it. Another user says, I hope things work out. And Opie replies, thank you, I appreciate it. Earlier today, I got us reservations for her favorite restaurant next week and have arranged for a sitter that night. She doesn't know, so it will be another surprise. Are you sure you want more surprises? 100%. I'm sure she'll like it since we haven't been out in a little while, but I will run it by her. Well, that's it, folks. Thank you for tuning into our stories today. If you found it engaging or have thoughts to share, drop a comment below. Your feedback means the world to us. If you enjoyed this, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe for more content, and hit that notification bell to stay updated. Until next time, take care.